It is a fascinating shift in a social dynamic when you decide to simply stop reacting to the petty arrows that people fire in your direction. For a long time, you might have been the person who felt a physical need to defend your character the second someone made a snide remark or tried to undermine your intelligence. You likely spent countless hours in your head, rehearsing the perfect comeback or trying to explain your perspective to individuals who were committed to misunderstanding you. But recently, something fundamentally changed in your internal wiring. When the latest attempt at a jab came your way, you didn't flinch, you didn't get angry, and you didn't even bother to offer a clever rebuttal. You simply acknowledged the comment with the same level of interest you'd give to a weather report and moved on with your day. This lack of emotional engagement has left the other party in a state of absolute confusion because they relied on your reaction to feel powerful. Now that you've removed that fuel, they are left wondering what kind of life experiences could have possibly turned you into someone so fundamentally unshakable. The psychology of this reaction is grounded in the reality that most toxic people view social interaction as a game of leverage. When they try to poke at your insecurities and find that those buttons no longer work, they immediately assume you've been through something much heavier than they ever realized. They start to speculate about your history, wondering if you were trained in a high-pressure environment, or if you faced challenges so intense that their little games feel like child's play to you. It is a relatable form of victory for anyone who has ever felt like a doormat. The moment you stop being bothered, you become a mystery that they cannot solve. You stayed classy by not descending into their mud, and that composure has earned you a level of respect that 1,000 arguments never could have achieved. They are currently reeling because they realize they no longer have a map for how to influence your emotional state. This shift is permanent, as it marks the day you decided that your peace of mind is a royal asset that you will no longer trade for the hollow satisfaction of being right. There is a profound sense of relief that comes when you realize that your internal focus has officially outpaced the external noise that used to keep you drained. You spent years being the one who tried to accommodate everyone else's ego, only to find that it never bought you the safety or respect you were seeking. Now that you are moving with a level of stillness that doesn't require an audience, you are finally free from the burden of having to justify your growth to people who aren't growing themselves. You are moving with a level of composure that makes you look like a veteran of these social wars, even if you were just a grounded individual who finally reached their limit. The manipulators who thought they were the main characters in your reality are now finding that they are barely a footnote, and their inability to trigger you is making them look desperate and small. You don't need to be a mastermind to win this game. You just have to be the only person in the room who isn't lying to themselves about the value of their own energy. Watching the social hierarchy reorganize itself in the wake of your new found indifference is one of the most eye-opening parts of your personal growth journey. The group that used to be so unified in their attempts to rattle you is now fragmented, with individuals trying to figure out why you aren't folding under the pressure. They are clashing over the details of your history because they cannot fathom a person having the self-mastery to stay calm and productive without some kind of secret background or specialized training. Without you there to act as the reactive one they needed to spark drama, they are forced to see the shady parts of their own lives, and they are finding that the reflection is quite unsettling. This shift is a victory for anyone who has ever felt like the target of a group's collective insecurity, as it proves that consistent habits and a refusal to play the game will always outlast a well-crafted narrative of pettiness. You stay grounded by focusing on your own path and not letting the news of their curiosity draw you back into the mud. The reality of your current situation is that you have become a legendary figure in their minds simply because you've revoked their access to your emotions. They are in a state of shock because they realize that your previous kindness was a choice, not a weakness. And you've finally decided to invest that kindness elsewhere. Most people are so afraid of being alone or being judged that they will stay in toxic dynamics just to feel connected. But you chose to trust your own standards over their hollow social games. This independence is what makes you so intimidating to those who rely on social pressure to keep people in line. They realize they can no longer use your desire for harmony as a weapon against you. You have effectively removed yourself from their game board, and now they are playing a match with no rules and no target. You stay classy by being polite if you ever run into them, but keeping a distance that lets them know you are no longer an available resource for their emotional dumping. Think about the mental clarity you have gained now that you aren't constantly trying to decode why people are so invested in trying to bring you down. That weight has been lifted, and you are free to explore the full extent of your potential without the anchor of other people's negative expectations holding you back. You have successfully navigated a landscape filled with manipulation and emerged as a person who is fundamentally unshakable in their own perspective. This is a classy level of victory because it wasn't won through a loud argument or a dramatic display of ego, but through the silent accumulation of self-respect. You are a strategist of your own reality, and you have taught the world that trying to underestimate your intelligence is a very expensive mistake for them to make in the long run. This grounded sense of security is what allows you to move with such confidence now. You know that your foundation is solid because you built it yourself, brick by brick, while everyone else was busy telling you how you should feel. Most people spend their entire lives waiting for a moment of validation from a group that is never going to give it. But you found it in the objective results of your own life. The individuals who are currently bickering over the details of your sudden. Toughness are the ones who realized too late that you were the most valuable and stable person in their circle. They are on alert now, not because they are afraid of you, but because they are afraid of the vacuum you left behind and the truth that is starting to leak out through the cracks of their failed control. This independence is what makes you so respected by those who actually have substance. They see a person who can stand on their own 2 feet without needing a click to feel valid. You stay classy by not engaging in the "I told you so" moments, even when the news reaches your ears and proves you were right about their true motivations all along. This is the ultimate form of self-mastery, knowing that you are vindicated by the quality of your current life. Looking forward, you can see that the road ahead is wide open because you've proven you can handle the heavy stuff without cracking under the pressure of being unfairly judged. The people who are currently in a state of confusion are really just mourning the loss of the control they used to have over your emotional state. But the secret is that you don't even have to look back to keep winning. You just have to stay grounded in the same habits and the same integrity that got you through the years of being underestimated. This is the ultimate form of self-improvement, knowing that your greatest weapon is your own consistency and your refusal to participate in low-level drama. You have effectively hacked the social system by being the most observant and honest person in the room. And that is a victory that will continue to pay off for the rest of your life. You don't need to look over your shoulder because you have already shown that you can handle whatever comes your way with class and precision.